Good evening. I'm Bobbie Steinbach. Tonight's episode of All Together Now falls during the week of Independence Day. I sat down with Kristen and Sarah, the women who create and produce the show, to talk about how we wanted to approach this. We talked about how July 4th has traditionally been a time of celebration. We know there are many good people doing good work in this country. Yet, it is a difficult time to be celebrating. The building of this country did great damage to the Native American original people of the land. America's brutal history of racism has caused untold and unrecognized harm to generations of Black Americans. And of course, we're also in the throes of a worldwide pandemic, which continues to cause loss, financial hardship, and disconnection for all of us. This leaves us wondering how we reconcile all of this and how we move forward. One way is through the arts, which hold and express a multitude of perspectives. The sharing of stories and the lifting of voices shine a guiding light. So that's what we're going to do tonight. We are highlighting segments that feel especially timely. These are performances in which artists have either shared something that speaks to this difficult time, or artists who have been really innovative in the way they make and share art virtually. We'll start with the work of the Guy Mendilow Ensemble and sand animator Zinnia Simonova. Guy's Tales of the Forgotten Kingdom, Sand Stories project is usually performed in person with a live audience, and Guy made the leap to premiere a new sand story called The News Stories We Tell on our virtual platform. Let's watch that video. Another artist we spent some time with was Syrian clarinetist and composer Kinan Azmeh. From his apartment in Brooklyn, he was reflecting on the current separation and exile we all feel from one another. He talked about yearning, homesickness, and how he is composing in a new way as we social distance. In his case, he performed for a new audience, the cherry tree he and his wife planted. This is improvisation for a cherry tree. This next piece from the Front Porch Collective's production of Black Odyssey, Boston, by Marcus Gardley, performed by actor Brendan G. Green, also resonates now in a powerful way. Would you roll that video, please?
It's been 3 long days since Ulysses floated away from the flood. Seeing a parent pulled from their child stirred up something familiar in his blood, something like familial love. And no longer could the soldier afford to be stuck, hoodwinked, bamboozled, nor run amok. He sails on with benevolence. Say, do you know what it's like to lose your kin? To be ripped from your mother's arms, snatched from your father's hands, to be taken from your motherland, slaved 401 years, only to be free to sharecrop for cheap, be cheated, treated like a piece of meat in fear of the noose, the Klan, and Jim Crow. You migrate north, east, and west, with nothing but the heart in your chest, hoping to get your hands on a piece of the American dream. But is there any left? Well, you break what's left of your back in factories of industry. You study in school with your blood, sweat, and tears. You snatch your patch of 40 acres and a mule until your industry job is shipped overseas, taken like a thief in the night. Your patch of land, your street, your hood becomes riddled with blight. And to add fuel to your rage, they ship in guns and drugs, jail time and gangs. They convict you of black-on-black crime as if white collars are free from all blame. It's a wonder you haven't become entirely insane. Tell me, why go home? They're still killing us because they fear our skin. Why not roam? Ulysses joined the service to serve a country that pays only lip service to him, a country that sings freedom with its mouth while it imprisons 2 million black men with its hands. 401 years we've been on this land, helping it to grow bigger, faster, but we still got to remind folks that our Black lives matter. The American dream was never Martin Luther King's dream. The American dream was a nightmare programmed to keep me asleep and broke, but brother, I got news. I'm woke, and I'll be here till freedom rings. You, yes, you, sitting there, all of you. Please be Ulysses. You protect the Black king and queen. Walk a mile in their shoes, I beg you. What do we have to lose? But everything.
A few weeks ago, we hosted Celtic woman Chloë Agnew from Ireland with her collaborator Mary B., who was in LA. They created a video of comfort, solidarity, and hope. Here's their version of Lean on Me by Bill Withers.
Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain, we all have sorrow, but if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me, and all that's wrong, it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Please swallow your pride if I have things you need to borrow, for no one can feel those of your needs that you won't let show. You just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a all need somebody to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. Oh, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Call on me, brother, here you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. And I just might have a problem that you'll understand. Oh, we all need somebody to lean on. If there is a load you have to bear that you can't carry, I'm right up the road. I'll share your load if you just call me, call me, call me. If you need a friend, call me, call me, call me, call me.
After the murder of George Floyd at the hands of police, literary performer Regie Gibson worked with us to create a Black Lives Matter show. All of Reggie's performances were stunning. And here, Regie, along with the Boston City Singers and the Guy Mendilow Ensemble, urges us to listen to children and to act now. Here is Sit Down, Children.
Sit down, children, I can't sit down. Sit down, children, I can't sit down. Sit down, children, I can't sit down. 'Cause my soul's so happy that I can't sit down.
And the children said, we want to march in the streets against those who oppress this land. And the grown folks said, children, sit down. And the children said, we want justice in this land, even if it means we must sacrifice and risk our bodies and beauties. And the grown folks said, children, sit down. And the children said, we must stand against water cannon and police dog, against nightstick and racist laws. And the grown folks said, children, sit down. The grown folks said, you are too young to do this. We fear that you are not safe in this world. So children, sit down. And the children said, you are right. We are not safe in this world, nor will we ever be if we sit down. So no, grown folks, we will not sit down.
So children, won't you sit down? Sit down, sit down, sit down, children, I can't sit down. Sit down, children, I can't sit down. Sit down, children, I can't sit down. 'Cause my soul's so happy that I can't sit down.
And so the children marched, and they marched, and they marched, and they marched. They marched so far ahead of the grown folk that they were beyond their sight. So the grown folk had to listen to the ground for the sound of the children's marching. They had to rise up and listen to the air for the voices of the children singing of the future. So the grown folk followed those voices until they found the children. And when the grown folks found them, The children were of so many folds and faces, so many places and races, but they all looked at the grown folk with the same eyes of the eternal child. And they said, listen to what they said. They said, did you not know that we had to be in the house of light? Did you not know that our souls knew where our feet had to take us? If you knew the joy in standing for justice, if you knew the joy in speaking for those slain by those sworn to protect, if you knew the joy in singing of the anger of your country until it cools, if you knew the joy in locking arms against night-born torches bent on burning church, mosque, and temple, if you knew the simple joy in fighting that which threatens light, you would not ask us to sit down. You would not say, sit down, children. You would stand with us, for you would know why we cannot sit down. So don't tell us to sit down as our world burns. Don't tell us to sit down as our brothers are bulleted. No, 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 no. Don't tell us to sit down while our sisters are made into nothing but meat. You can sit down if you want to, but we're going to sing up a new song, for our souls are happy and we cannot sit down.
So children, won't you sit down? Sit down, children. I can't sit down. Sit down, children. I can't sit down. Sit down, children. I can't sit down. My soul's so happy that I just can't sit down.
No, we can't sit down. To close out our show, we turn to the Appalachian and old-time music traditions at the core of Squirrel Butter. Charlie Beck and Charmaine Slavin offer us some joy and love during a dark time. Here's their performance of Love Will Roll the Clouds Away.
Here we go. As along life's way you go, clouds behind the light of day, Have no fear, for well you know, love will roll the clouds away. Love will roll the clouds away. Turn the darkness into daylight of day. I'm so glad I now can say, love will roll the clouds away. When the road is rough and long, and the world is cold and gray, lift your voice in happy song, Love will roll the clouds away. Love will roll the clouds away. Turn the darkness into daylight of day. I'm so glad I now can say, love will roll the clouds away.
Thank you so, so very much to all the wonderful, creative, generous artists who were on the show tonight, by video, of course. We thank you so very much. And before we say goodbye tonight, I'd like to share a poem entitled Paul Robeson by Gwendolyn Brooks, who was the first Black poet to win a Pulitzer Prize. She wrote candid and compassionate poetry, and this poem honors Mr. Robeson's artistry and activism. That time we all heard it, cool and clear, cutting across the hot grit of the day, the major voice, the adult voice, foregoing rolling river, foregoing tearful tale of bale and barge and other symptoms of the old despond. Warning in music words, devout and large, that we are each other's harvest. We are each other's business. We are each other's magnitude and bond. Thanks for being part of All Together Now, my friends. And please remember to like, subscribe, and comment. We love hearing from you. We'll be back next Thursday with violinist and pediatrician Dr. Lisa Wong, one of the founders of the Boston Hope Music Project for Boston Hope Hospital. We'll hear about the project and we'll have a performance from Lisa and other musicians from Boston Hope. Until then, keep a song in your heart and hold a good thought.